Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. In this session, we are going to discuss about the phylum Mollusca. So, student, we have discussed already about phylum Arthropoda. From phylum Arthropoda, we have seen the different classes. Okay, one class was remaining that was Merostomata. See, in Merostomata, the example that we are supposed to study is the king crab. And see, king crab consists of all the characteristic feature that are similar to the other classes of the Arthropoda. Like they have the cephalothorax as well. The body is divided into cephalothorax as well as the abdomen, that is head plus thoracic region plus abdomen. Then they have the 5 pair of walking legs. Then again they have the respiration is through the book lungs, and the what we say excretion is with the help of coxal gland. So these are the basic characteristic feature of the king crab. We will start with the next phylum, that is the phylum Mollusca. Okay, so phylum Mollusca. Now here in this phylum we are going to discuss about few important characteristic feature of the what we say phylum Mollusca. Then we will see the diagram. Okay, examples, we will see the example, and we will also classify this phylum Mollusca. Now let's start with the basic characteristic feature to understand what type of body organization they have, what type of symmetry they possess, but what type of body plan they have, whether they have the body cavity or not. Okay, all these structures or all these parameter with that we are going to discuss here. So let's start. So see, in earlier phylum, that is phylum Arthropoda, we have discussed that it is the largest phylum, consists of 9 lakh species around it. Okay, so here it is the second largest phylum, okay, which consists of around 60,000 species. So here it is second largest phylum with 60,000 species. Okay, it is the second largest phylum with 60,000 species. Okay, the next, they are found in marine water, as well as on land. So that means they are marine as well as terrestrial. Okay, so if we talk about the examples of the mollusca, that is like snail, we see the snails are also found in marine water as well as they are found in the on the land. Okay, the next, not only the snail but also other examples are like pearl oyster. Okay, so that is found in the ocean. The next, they have soft body, and this soft body, it is covered by a shell. Okay, it is covered by a shell. The next, the term mollusca, the term mollusca or term mollusca you can call. Okay, term mollusca was given by Johnston. So this was the scientist who has given the term mollusca. Okay, the next, the study of organisms, or study of the organisms, in mollusca phylum, phylum is called, in mollusca phylum is called the malacology. Malacology. So the branch under which the study of organisms under mollusk phylum is being studied, that branch is referred as the malacology. The next, okay, and the study of shell of mollusca is known as is known as is known as conchology. Conchology. So the study of shell, okay, which is present on the outermost part of the mollusk. We can see in the snail also there is a formation of a shell around it. In the oysters also we can see there will be formation of the shell around it, and the study of the shell in the mollusca is referred as conchology. Okay, so these are about few characteristic features. Again we have to study about the general characteristic feature, where we can see what type of body symmetry they have, again what type of habitat they have, as we have discussed already, that is they have marine as well as terrestrial habitat. They are found in marine as well as terrestrial habitat. Then whether they have the appendages or not. Okay, so all that body cavity and everything that we are going to discuss here. Now let's start with the basic characteristic features. Okay, so let's see the general characteristic features. General characteristics. So let's see the general characters. So the first general character is body is segmented. Body is segmented and has variety of shapes Okay, the next, they are bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, so when we talk about the younger stage of the or the larval stage of the mollusca, at that time only they are bilaterally symmetrical. As they will grow up, okay, along with the shell, so they are showing asymmetric type of symmetry, means they are not showing any kind of symmetry, because when they are grown up, at that time the body will also have the shape like the shell. Okay, and if we try to pass a plane through the center of the body, it will not divide the body into two identical equal half or many identical equal half. So the adult snails, they are asymmetric one. This point we have also discussed during the first parameters, that was symmetry. Okay, so in symmetry we have seen about amoeba and the adult snail. Okay, they are asymmetric in nature. So here they are bilaterally symmetrical in younger stage. or at the time of their development. Okay. The next, they are triploblastic. Now, what is meant by triploblastic? That means they are composed of three germinal layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and the endoderm. So, they are called triploblastic. Okay. Then they have organ system level of organization. So, they have the organ system level of organization, means most of the processes they are regulated with the help of certain organ system. And what are those processes? Like respiration is there, okay, then excretion is there, then digestion is there, then circulation is there, reproduction is there. All this we will study here. The next, body has calcareous shell, okay, body has calcareous shell covering body has calcareous shell covering with distinct head, comma, visceral mass, comma, and muscular foot. See, so body is basically covered by the calcareous shell. Calcareous means it is composed of calcium carbonate, okay, or the silica also, and covering with the distinct head, okay, then visceral mass and the muscular foot. So, visceral mass is that mass that is where the very smooth spongy type of tissues are present. That part is called as the visceral mass. Okay, if we look after the body of the snail, it is having the sponginess. Okay, that is nothing but a visceral part. Okay, and the dorsal part or the part that is covered by the shell. Okay, shell itself, apart from the visceral part. Let's see. Next, body has thin, soft, and spongy, soft and spongy skin layer that forms mantle. Okay, that forms the mantle, or which is also referred as pallium. Okay, so mantle is the part which is present at the upper part, in the upper region. Okay, we'll see when we'll see the diagram of the such organisms. Okay, so these are a few characteristic feature. Again, we have to discuss more. Like body is segmented and has variety of shapes. Okay, if we look after the different types of mollusks, we can see they have different types of shape. The next, they are bilaterally symmetrical. In case of apple snail or this normal snail, we see garden snail. What is that? The younger part, in the younger development, or in the younger phase of their development, they have bilateral symmetry. As they will grow up, they will be considered as asymmetric. Okay, so that is the basic difference between these. Then they are triploblastic, that is composed of three germinal layers. Then they have the organ system level of organization. That means their organisms consist of the different organs associated to perform various physical and the metabolic reactions. Then the body has calcareous shell, which is protective in nature, okay, with distinct head, visceral mass and the muscular foot. Then the body has a thin, soft and spongy skin layer that forms the mantle, okay, or the pallium. Okay, so these are also protective in nature. We will discuss when we will discuss about the diagram. Now let's move to the next further points. Okay, now the next point, the visceral skin, the visceral skin, the visceral skin mass secretes, the visceral skin mass secretes a glandular hump, a glandular hump, okay, and and the mantle, and the mantle which is called, which is called the mantle cavity, mantle cavity. Okay, the next, if you look after the diagram, that will come to know. I'll draw the diagram of the snail. Okay, so you will get the idea what are this structure, which part is the visceral part, okay, which part is covered with the mantle and which part is covered with the what we say, calcareous shell. Okay, so let's see a rough diagram over here. So here you can see the body. Okay, so this is the foot part, and here you can see the alimentary canal of this organism. Okay, the alimentary canal, it is well developed. Okay, so here in this way the body is been formed. Okay, this part is around or which has been covered by the shell, the part here, okay, which is referred as the mantle. Okay, which is called as the mantle. So mantle is nothing but a part of skin that is been visceral skin, okay, that secretes a glandular hump, okay, and the mantle which is called here mantle cavity. Okay, so here it has the mantle cavity. mantle cavity. Then next, here the gills are there, which are used for respiration. Okay, if they are aquatic, then this part is the head part. Okay, then here they have the eyes, then mouth part is there, and this is the foot. Okay, so such a structure can be seen in case of snail. But see here, the mantle, it is covered by the calcareous shell. Okay, so this is the internal structure by which we can understand, and this is the part which is called visceral part. Okay, this visceral part is responsible for secretion of the, okay, it is responsible for secretion of the mantle or the hump. The next, the mantle secretes, the mantle secretes, the mantle secretes an external shell, an external shell which is made up of, which is made up of, which is made up of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3. Okay, calcium carbonate and conkin, and conkin protein. It is a protein. Okay, so which has been secreted by this shell containing organisms. Okay, along with calcium carbonate, which will make up the shell around their body. So there will be, the body or the mantle will be covered with the shell. Okay, the next, the coelom, that is the body cavity, is reduced. Okay, they don't have the actual, see, the body cavity has been reduced actually. Okay, or it can be referred as the consisting of a fluid, generally hemocoel. Okay, similar to the phylum Arthropoda. So body is filled with a fluid. The next, the space between, the space between, the space between visceral, okay, the space between visceral contains blood, and forms hemocoel. Okay, so the space which is present within the visceral part, okay, or the space which is present in the visceral part of the body will be filled with the blood, and which will form the hemocoel. Hemocoel is the cavity, okay, the body cavity actually. We have discussed about it when we are discussing about the different types of body cavities. Okay, the next we'll move to the some more points. We'll discuss about digestive system, then respiration, then we'll discuss about the reproductive system. So I hope you are getting this. Note down these points, compare with the characters that we have discussed already in the introductory part. Okay, and try to remember all these characteristic features. The next, we'll be moving to the next point. So let's see the digestive system. What kind of digestive system they have? The digestive system, the digestive system, okay, or the digestive tract has mouth and anus. That means they have the complete alimentary canal which starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. Okay. The next, there is a rasping, a rasping, or which is also referred as feeding organ. Feeding organ, rasping or feeding organ in the buccal cavity, in the buccal cavity, in the buccal cavity called radula. Okay, remember this point which is very important, and many times this point has been also asked in the exams. Okay, so when radula comes, you have to remember the mollusca. Okay, that is the feeding organ present in the buccal cavity of the mollusk. The next, the mantle cavity, the mantle cavity, the mantle cavity ends into anus. The mantle cavity ends into anus, as we have seen in the diagram also. So mantle cavity, which is dorsal one, which will end into the anus itself. Okay. The next, the digestive glands, digestive glands are also present, are also present, okay, are also present to secrete digestive juices, digestive juices into the body, into the body, which is known as, hepatopancreas, hepatopancreas. Okay, hepatopancreas. See, it is like a duct-like system which is present in this organism, which is composed of liver as well as the pancreas. Okay, so the secretions from the liver and the pancreas will be given into these hepatopancreas. Okay, the next we will move to the next point, that is the respiration. Okay, so respiration in case of these organisms occurs through gills. So respiration occurs through gills. Okay, respiration occurs through gills. Okay, called as tinida or tinidia. Okay, tinidia. That, so respiration in case of mollusk, when it occurs through the gills, it is called as the tinidia. Okay, and which are present in mantle cavity. So basically these tinidia are the organs which are responsible for respiration in case of this mollusk. Okay, and which are present in the mantle cavity itself. The next, we'll discuss few more points here, that is about the circulatory system, excretory system, and then we'll move to the reproductive system. Okay, so I'll rub these points. So here we are starting with the next, that is circulatory system. circulatory system. Okay, so circulatory system includes one to one to two pairs, one to two pairs. Sorry. It's not about circulatory system. Circulatory system, that is about the excretory system. Okay, circulatory system, it is made up of dorsal pulsatile heart. Okay, so it consists of a dorsal pulsatile heart. Okay, this pulsatile heart, in the sense, it gives the electrical signals. Okay, like we get the electrical signals through a particular circuit. In similar way, what here also there will be generation of certain impulses. Okay, or the beating, particular beating is there. See, heart beats, right? So here also that beats are referred as the pulsatile, which can be called as a pulsatile heart. Okay, that heart that transports blood blood through arteries which opens into sinuses. Okay, so basically what type of circulation it is? It is a open type of circulation. When arteries, they are opening into sinuses, that means it is a open circulatory system. Okay, that can be seen in the mollusk. Then next, you can write here, it is an open circulatory system. Okay, then next, the blood is blue or green in color. See, I have discussed about it in the introductory part when we are discussing about the circulatory system, right? At that time, I have told you about the two types of blood containing pigments, or the pigment which are present in the blood. That is hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin consists of the iron containing pigment or the iron containing red pigment, and hemocyanin was another type of composition of the blood which was containing the copper containing pigment. Okay, and generally the blood which consists of the copper, okay, it is generally green or blue in color. So you can see in the mollusk, okay, like in case of squid, you can see, or they release a kind of ink like substance in the water. Okay, so that ink like substance is nothing but their blood. Okay, it is used for camouflage, means they use it to hide or use it to defend themselves. Okay, the next, so blood is blue or green in color as it has respiratory transport molecules made up of copper, that is Cu. Okay, copper, called hemocyanin. So this is about the circulatory system. As you can see, the circulatory system is made up of dorsal pulsatile heart, okay, that transports or pumps the blood through the arteries which will enter into the sinuses. So sinuses are the empty cavities. So what type of circulation they have? They have the open system type of circulation, and blood is blue or green in color due to the presence of a respiratory pigment called hemocyanin, which consists of a copper. Okay, so or which is composed of copper. Okay, so here the blood color will be blue or green. The next we are going to discuss is about the excretory system. Excretory system. So what kind of nitrogenous waste material these organisms excrete? Okay, that we are going to discuss here. So the excretory system includes one to two pairs of one to two pairs of sac-like sac means pouches, small pouch like sac-like kidneys that secretes nitrogenous waste into the mantle cavity. As the mantle cavity opens into the anus, so that material will be excreted throughout the anus. Okay, the next, the kidney is is metanephric okay, called, or which consists of metanephridia, okay, called Cabers organ, okay. So the name may be given due to the observation by the scientist. Okay, Cabers organ or organ of Bojanus or Unio. Okay, so such names are given to the kidney which is seen in case of mollusk, okay, which secretes the nitrogenous waste material into the mantle cavity. Okay, and the kidney is metanephric, or it is the metanephridia. Okay, it consists of the metanephridia called as the Cabers organ or the organ of Bojanus or Unio. Okay, the next points, that is now, as these organisms they are found in marine water, what will be the excretory material or the nitrogenous material which has been excreted? That will be the ammonia. See, as I told you, ammonia it is highly concentrated and it need to be secreted into the water. Okay, so they are ammonotelic in water. Okay, they are ammonotelic in water. And what about terrestrial one, which are found on the terrestrial or on the land? They secrete the uric acid as the nitrogenous waste material. So they can be called as the uricotelic. Okay, so they are uricotelic on land. You can write they are uricotelic on land. Okay, so that means they secrete the uric acid as a nitrogenous waste material. Okay, so these are the few points about the circulatory system and the excretory system. Now let's move to the nervous system. Okay, so what kind of nervous system they have, we'll see here. And next we are going to see the nervous system over here. So the nervous system includes three pairs three pairs three pairs of ganglia. Okay, three pairs of ganglia. Now what are ganglia? That is the group of neurons. Okay, and it includes, that is, first cerebral, that is, which is present above the mouth. Okay, then second, pedal, which is found in the foot. Then third, visceral, which is found in visceral mass. Okay, that is the soft part of the body. So the nervous system includes three pairs of ganglia, and these ganglia are the group of neurons which are found in the cerebral part above the mouth, pedal part in the feet or on the foot, and visceral part in the visceral mass of the body. Okay, so this is about the nervous system. Then sense organs. So these mollusks also consist of the sense organs. So sense organ includes eye, okay, which is present over the stalk, okay, called omatophore. Okay, or it is also referred as gastropoda. Okay, so present over the stalk called omatophore. The next, statocyst, okay, or which is also called lithocyst. Now what are these? These are for equilibrium in foot. Okay, to form equilibrium within the foot, such sense organs are there, that is statocyst or the lithocyst. The next, third type of sense organ is the ostradia. Now what is ostradia? It is a chemoreceptor. It is the chemoreceptor, okay, or the receptor which is also been used for sensing the taste or the smell, which is referred as the olfactory receptor. Okay, also referred as olfactory receptor, and help in the sensing smell, okay, also taste. Okay, so such type of senses are present in this ostradia. Okay, so these are the sense organs which are present in the phylum Mollusca. And let's see the reproduction. Okay, so here I'll write here, sexes are dioecious, okay, dioecious, and organisms are oviparous. That means they lay the eggs. Then Fertilization may be fertilization can be internal or external. Okay, internal or external. Now development is indirect. Development is indirect. Okay, so these are the different points. Development is indirect, and how it is? It is with the help of trochophore larva. Okay, by trochophore larva. Okay, so that is the development which can be seen in case of these organisms. Okay, so there are different types of larval forms can be seen in different types of mollusks. Okay, so this is about the trochophore larva. Other larvas are, okay, then Glaucidium, which is found in the freshwater mussel. Then Veliger is also a type of larva which is found in the phyla. Okay, so let's see the classification of this. Let's see the classification of this phylum Mollusca. Okay, I hope you are getting this. So students, you can write, you can draw these examples. So here the diagram of Unio and the phyla. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can draw the diagram later. Okay, now we'll start with the classification of phylum Mollusca. So we'll see certain classes under phylum Mollusca, and we'll write the examples also. Okay, in general, for diagram, for references, you can use these diagrams. Okay, and because most of the time questions are also asked on diagram based. Okay, diagram based questions are there. You need to know the what are the labelings are given in the diagram. Okay, for that purpose you have to draw these diagrams. So I'll rub this diagram for right now. Okay, you can pause the video and draw in your notebook. Now we'll move to the classification of phylum Mollusca. Okay, we'll classify the phylum Mollusca. So classification. Classification of mollusk or mollusca. Okay, so here there are different classes. Around 6 classes of mollusca can be seen. We will write their names. Okay, so the first class over here is the Monoplacophora. Monoplacophora. Okay, then, and the example under this, okay, it is the connecting link between the Annelida and the mollusca. Okay, so that is a connecting link which is also referred as a living fossil that we'll discuss here, that is the Neoplenia. Then next is the Amphinuria. Or Amphineura. Okay, so here Amphineura, which is also referred as Polyplacophora. And the example that we are going to study here is the sea mica. Okay, in this. Then third, Scapopoda. Scapopoda. And the example that we are going to study here is the Dentalium. Okay, example is the Dentalium. And fourth one, Gastropoda. Okay, and the example that will be studied here is the apple snail. So many different examples are there. Okay, the next, fifth one, that is Pelisapoda. Okay, and the example will be pearl oyster. Okay, so oysters will be studied under this class, and the sixth class is the Cephalopoda. And the example that will be studied here is the octopus. Okay, so we'll see the that is the general characteristic feature of each and every class, so that when you will face some questions among these classes, you will able to solve that questions. Okay, so we'll start with the first class, that is the Monoplacophora. Okay, and we'll see the characteristics of the Monoplacophora. What are the different characteristics which are involved in the Monoplacophora? So these are marine animals. These are marine animals. Okay, that share characters of Annelida and mollusca. Okay, so this is the class, or this is the class of the animal which share a character of Annelida and the mollusca. Okay, so they have the characters of both the phylums. The next, shell has shape. Shell has dome shape. Dome shape with mantle covering. Okay, so dome shape means like this. Okay, and which is covered with the mantle, as in case of snail we have seen. Okay, the next, broad and flat foots are found. Okay, so these are the characteristic feature of the Monoplacophora, and let's see the example. Example in this is included, that is Neopilenia. Okay, or Neopilina, actually Neopilina, which is also considered as living fossil, and shows the connecting link between the Annelida and the mollusca. Okay, so for the some characters are similar to the Annelida and some characters are similar to the mollusca, so it is considered as the connecting link between the Annelida and mollusca. The next class that we are going to study is, that is Amphinuria. Okay, or the Polyplacophora. Second class, Polyplacophora, which is also called as Amphinuria. So these are marine, that means they are found in the marine water. Then shell can be present with 8 dorsal plates. Okay, or it may be absent also. So basically these are marine and the shell can be present, okay, with 8 dorsal plates, or it can also be absent. Okay, then they have flat foot. Okay, flat foot is present at ventral surface. Okay, flat foot are present at the ventral surface. An example is the chiton or the chiton. Okay, that is also referred as the sea mica. Okay, so So this is the second class, that is Polyplacophora and their general characteristics. Then third, that is Scaphopoda. Scaphopoda, third class. Okay. So let's see their characteristic feature. These are marine. So the habitat they have, that is the marine, they are found in the marine water. Then shell is tubular. Shell is tubular and opens at both ends. Opens at both ends. So you know the tusk found in the elephant, such a type of shell is there. Okay, so it has tusk like shell. Tusk like shell. Okay, tusk like shell. The foot is in conical shape. Conical shape helps in digging. Okay, so these are the Scaphopoda which are having a tusk like structure. Okay, or the conical ends they have, and have the opening from the both the ends. Okay, the shell is tusk like, and the conical end of the tusk is used for digging. So the example of this is the dentalium. Example, dentalium. Okay, example is the dentalium. So this is about the third class, that is class Scaphopoda. Then we'll move to the next class, that is Gastropoda. The fourth one, Gastropoda. So let's see the characteristics of Gastropoda. These are marine. Or found in fresh water. These are found in marine or fresh water, or moist soil. Okay, so these are the common habitats where they are found, that is marine water, or found in the fresh water, or also found in the moist soil. The next, the shell is spirally coiled. The shell is spirally coiled. Okay, that is in case of univalvia. Okay, that is called univalvia type of shell. The next, the foot is attached to stomach. The foot is attached to stomach. The foot is attached to stomach. Okay, and examples of this are pila, or pila, that is called apple snail. Then another example is the aplysia, which is also referred as sea hare. Then Limex or Limex, which is also referred as slug. Okay, then again so many examples are there, like sea lemon is there, okay, etc. So these are some examples which can be seen under class Gastropoda. They are marine, they are found in fresh water also, and they are found on the moist soil. The shell is spirally coiled, okay, which is referred as univalvia. Foot is attached to the stomach, and here the examples you can see the apple snail, okay, Apsilia and Apicea, and that is which is called as the sea hare, then Limex, which is called as the slug, and sea lemon. So these are the different organisms, okay. Then next class, that is the Pelecypoda, okay, Pelecypoda. That is the class number 5, Pelecypoda. So let's see the characteristics. They are found in marine or fresh water, okay. So they have two different habitats, that is either they are found in the marine water as well as the fresh water. Then shell is made up of two walls, okay, or two valves that can move by dorsal hinge. So basically at the dorsal part of this shell there is a consist of a wall, okay, or there is a valve, okay, which help in the movement, which moves basically, okay. So that hinge means it is a joint over there, okay. So shell shows the movement over there. The next, foot has wedge shape, okay. So it will be like this, such shape is there which is called wedge shape, okay. And example is Unio, then Teredo, which is also referred as the shipworm, then Pinctada, which is also referred as pearl oyster. Okay, pearl oysters. So these are the examples which are seen under this Peleco or Pelecypoda. Okay, so this is the 5th class. You can pause the video and write down the information about it. So why I am giving this information? Because this information is related to the questions. Okay, so directly such questions can be made. The shell is made up of dash that moves by the dorsal hinge, okay, in the phylum or in the class Pelecypoda, okay. So that will be two walls, or the shell is made up of two walls that can move by dorsal hinge in the class, okay, dash of phylum Mollusca, okay. So we need to remember this class. In this way many questions can be made, okay. So you have to note down all these points, okay, and revise it regularly. The next that we are going to discuss is the 6th class, that is the last class, which is called as the Cephalopoda. So here let's discuss about the Cephalopoda. They are marine, so they are found in the marine water. Then next, shell is either internal, that is called sepia, or external, okay, that is called nautilus, okay, and which is absent in octopus, okay, that is external shell is absent in octopus. The next, foot is flat, okay, and muscular. The next, they have closed circulation, or the closed blood circulation, closed blood circulation. The next, so they release ink into the water, okay, for the defense mechanism. The next example is the octopus, okay, octopus, which is also called as the devilfish, with 8 arms, okay. So this is the information about the phylum Mollusca and its classification, okay. So you have to revise all these points, as all the points are discussed already. On the basis of various parameters we have discussed these points, okay. So you have to recollect all these points and note down your notebook. If you feel any kind of doubt in this part, you can ask me, okay, on the Google Meet, as well as you can send me your doubts personally, okay. Thank you.